and I'm just a regular guy using steroids, not even half your real limits. Anything that isn't growing is dying. As you do it more, it becomes your comfort zone. Over 100 pounds in 3 months, extremely painful. Years to get up to that level. But I look a lot better. I'm elite physique. Keep crawling towards that standard. It's so expensive to have these drugs. Let's be realistic. Everybody has limits. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, thanks for checking me out. I'm gonna get you hip. Today, I'm not gonna be speaking about upping standards. I'm talking about setting ridiculous, inconceivable standards in order to achieve greatness. It's gonna be a great one. Without any further ado, let's get into it. We need to get out of our comfort zone, right? It's said that anything that isn't growing is dying. How do you grow a muscle? You're gonna work it until it's out of its comfort zone, and then it's gonna break down and repair bigger or stronger or whatever the case is. We need to get out of our comfort zone because we're not growing there. So by proxy, we're dying, and our comfort zone becomes our routine. Physically, if you have the same workout routine forever, you're gonna kind of plateau. It's gonna become too easy and you're not gonna get any growth from it. If you're just going to work and then binge watching your favorite shows, you're not growing from it. You need new things to form new neural pathways for your brain to keep growing and for you to become smarter, more cognizant, more cognitive. You need to just keep pushing the envelope, right? This is why we have things like Alzheimer's. Older people get into that same routine and they stop using their brain, it kind of atrophies. When they stop using their body, it atrophies. They get hurt easier because their body's slowing down and it's uncomfortable to push the envelope, or their mind's slowing down and it's uncomfortable to push the envelope. They just want to sit in a rocking chair and watch soap operas or whatever the case may be, right? So it's imperative that we keep seeking discomfort. We keep exiting our comfort zone because, all right, right now your comfort zone might be running a mile, right? So you up it to 2, and it's hard at first, pause. But as you do it more, it becomes your comfort zone, right? So it's called evolution. Then you might up it to 4 miles, right? Which is extremely hard at the time. After you do it long enough, it becomes your comfort zone. Rather than the first scenario of somebody who just stayed in the 1 mile and they would just do 1 mile a day or whatever it is. It's gonna become extremely easy. But the person that upped it to 4 miles, not only is their performance better, they're gonna be able to beat the 1 miler at the 1 mile, even though he does it every day because they're pushing themselves, right? So when it's coming down to the wire and say they're neck and neck, they're gonna have more endurance, better lung capacity, better muscle for running to be able to push past the person that's just a 1 miler. So it's imperative that we get out of our comfort zone. Now, number 2 is we're gonna set our urgency a lot higher when we're trying to achieve something when we're trying to achieve a standard that's way beyond what we think we could do. It's obviously gonna be out of our comfort zone, and we're gonna have to have a sense of urgency if we believe we can do it. Example, I like to use David Goggins. He was about 280, almost 300 pounds. He had to drop over 100 pounds in 3 months to be able to even try out to become a Navy SEAL. And the problem was he was so heavy that it was extremely painful for him to run. So this looks like an insurmountable task because running and jogging is gonna be a great way to lose that weight. So he couldn't do that. So what he did was upped his urgency and kind of created like a ridiculous workout routine, nutrition routine for those 3 months to be able to do it. So instead of being able to run, he was biking, stationary biking a couple times a day. He was doing circuit training. He was also studying for his test that he would have to take to become a Navy SEAL. And his nutrition, he was eating a ridiculously low amount of food for the workouts he was doing. He was swimming, he was biking, he was doing circuit weight training. Then once he got lower in the weight, he would actually start running to it, right? So he's working out a couple hours a day, every day, eating an extremely low amount of food, studying, all to have the shot at becoming a Navy SEAL. Within 3 months, he dropped the weight and he was in great condition. Now he's eligible to go into the hardest training, maybe in the military, and see if he can do it. But that sense of urgency to have that small window of 3 months to revolutionize his fitness, revolutionize his mentality, is the catalyst that probably toughened him up and strengthened him up enough to be able to go on to become a Navy SEAL. Now, the third benefit would be resilience. If you think you have an unachievable task, but you're so warped and you're so driven that you're still gonna go for it, the process of grinding every day trying to get there is gonna make you resilient. Because for a long time, that standard is gonna seem so out of touch, even though you believe you can do it and you're putting in the work every day. That is gonna build resilience. If I wanna be Mr. Olympia, right, but I'm just an average Joe right now, and I look and I see the Jay Cutlers, I see the Ronnie Colemans, I see the Phil Heaths, I see the C-Bums, and I'm just a regular guy, it's so far out from most people's expectations. But I want to do it, I believe I can do it. So I start grinding. I start doing the research on what supplements I need to take, what foods I need to eat, the weight training I need to do, my macros. If you're on Mr. Olympia, you're using steroids, so whatever cycle I need to do. Not promoting it. It's gonna take years to get up to that level if you even have the genetic kind of predisposition to be able to do that, because there's some genetics that go into it that you can't control. So I look up after a month and you know what? I look a lot better, but I'm nowhere near that. I look up a year. I look great, but I'm nowhere near that. I look up 5 years. I'm elite physique, but I'm not big enough or I'm not lean enough to do it, right? So say it's a 10-year process. You doing that grind every single day and keep crawling towards that standard is building resilience, because it's not an overnight thing, right? And there's gonna be times where you're like, you know what, let me just give up. This is too expensive to eat like this. This is too expensive to have these drugs. My quality of life is going down because I have to eat this many times a day and I can only eat these certain foods and I can't drink. But if you're crazy enough to think you can do it and you give it your full effort, you have no choice but to build resilience. That's basically the definition of it. Let's be realistic. Everybody has limits. But like I previously said in another video, to paraphrase David Goggins, once you hit about 40% of your limit, your body's gonna wanna quit and your mind's gonna wanna quit, right? So 40% is nowhere near, it's not even half your real limits, right? So if you're willing to put your standards so far beyond anything you can rationally perceive, even if you don't get to that standard, you're gonna hit your real limit somewhere along there, but it's gonna be way over 40% of your capabilities, right? So setting your standard super high is gonna get you out of your comfort zone, create a sense of urgency, especially if you have a timeline, which is kind of mandatory, build ridiculous amounts of resilience, and you're gonna be able to find your real limit, right? So let's go back to the bodybuilding example. You might not be Mr. Olympia potential, right? It might just be complete. If you're 5'4", no matter how much muscle you pack on, you're not gonna look as good as 6'3" giant muscle behemoths, right? You can have the same body fat, you can have the same percentage of muscle mass, but it's something that's judged and you're probably never gonna win. Going for that goal, you're gonna get to the peak physique that's possible for you, and you're gonna be able to see that. And that peak physique might be not Mr. Olympia level, but it might be high IFBB, pro, I guess classic. I don't know the other bodybuilding brands, but what I'm saying is you might not be Mr. Olympia level, or another example, you might not be NFL level, you might be CFL level, you might be AFL level, or overseas level rather than the NBA, right? But putting in the work to get to the highest level possible, the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, you're gonna see if you can do it. And if you can't, and the best you can do is these other leagues, you're still a professional athlete, you're still elite, you know you gave it your all, there's nothing you can really do about it, right? You did what you could, you controlled what you could, that can be asked of you. Now the last point is you build momentum, right? So as I was just saying, I'm gonna expound on it. Going for that super high standard, if you don't hit it, you still got super far and you built momentum even in the process of chasing that. So if your standard is 1 million subscribers on YouTube and you put in the work every day right? You get out of your comfort zone. You may have to make different type of videos that draw in more people. You're gonna have to have a sense of urgency, meaning you're gonna have to post every day. You're gonna have to post shorts. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time editing. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time filming. You might have to invest in editors, learn marketing, especially if you have like a year time window or however long the time window is. And then that discipline every day of trying to get there is gonna build the resilience. And if it's a year and you can't get to 1 million subscribers in a year, you're gonna get as high as you can. So say it's 100,000 in a year. That's still great, and that's still a ridiculous amount of momentum. It's only 10% of the standard you set, but the momentum from that 10% of the standard you set would be higher than if you set a standard of 90,000, right? Because even if you hit that, you're still below the 10% of a ridiculous standard. So this is 5 reasons that you need to up your standards to a ridiculous amount. A quick personal example for me, right? I decided I wanted to get in the best shape of my life in my early 30s. That's a great standard, but guess what? I've accomplished it. I don't think I've been in better shape than this since maybe high school, but I didn't have the muscle I had, and I just had close to the same body fat. Now that I've achieved it, and in 3 months, that kind of set me up for what else is possible, what else is there. My new standard is way beyond getting in the best shape of my life, right? Now I want a top elite physique, and not only elite for regular people. My ideal standards for my physique is anime level, right? So this is Baki, right? Look how jacked he is, ridiculous. I mean, look at these guys, not an ounce of body fat on them, just all muscles and rage, right? That's the standard we setting. The leanness, the muscle mass, the athletic ability in anime is going to be higher than anything you see in real world. But why not shoot for that? If I shoot for anime level, I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone ridiculously. I'm going to have to be sub 10% body fat. I'm going to have to do it quickly because the older you get, the harder it's going to be to do. So now's the time I'm going to do it. Every day I'm putting in work, and as you know in the gym, you don't see progress overnight, right? It's a slow grind, but it builds resilience. I'm gonna find my real limits. Well, obviously I'm not gonna take steroids or anything like that, but my actual genetic limits, I'm gonna push to them. And my momentum, if I fall short of an anime physique, I might still get an IG influencer physique. That's just a quick reminder for you guys. Up your standards. It's imperative. You only live once, make the most of it. If somebody else can achieve it, you can achieve it. They might have a predisposition for whatever it is, but a lot of times hard work beats talent. Thanks for watching. That was a video for today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on IG at Mr. Milkwood. Class is adjourned.